Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Megan Milakovic. For those of you who don't know me, I am a diamond with Plexus. And what that means is that I really love this company. I really love these supplements, and I really love empowering people to change their life for the better. And so, through all of those things, that's how you get to the top of this company. And so, I want to share with you guys tonight a little bit more about my story and how our health and our finances did a 180 thanks to Plexus. I'm also going to share with you guys a little bit about mindset so that you can walk away with just some practical, tangible things that you can apply to your everyday life. And I'm going to end tonight's call with a very unique vision casting exercise. So you are going to want to make sure that you stay until the end. And I just want to first say thank you so much for being on here tonight, for taking the time to be here. I truly believe that there are no accidents. I believe that you are here for a purpose tonight, that there is something, there is a message that you need to hear on this call. And so I want you to have an open heart. I want you to have an open mind as you're hearing what I'm sharing tonight, because I believe that it can be very powerful. And so we always have something to learn. So whether you are watching the recording of this because somebody sent it to you, whether you are already loving your products in Plexus, whether you have already started making an income, or whether all of this is brand new to you, I want to welcome you and just say thank you so much for being here tonight. So let's go ahead and dive in. So I have been with Plexus now for 8 years. It is so crazy to think about that. But I want to share with you guys where we started. So 9 years ago, my husband unexpectedly got let go from his job. I was 20 weeks pregnant with our second baby. It was the week of my best friend's wedding, and we had just moved a few months prior to about an hour and a half north of where our entire community was for this new job, a pay increase, all the things. We thought it was going to be amazing. And then out of the blue, he got let go. And sometimes we have situations that happen in our life that we do not understand why it's happening. We later found out that the company had fudged numbers and they thought bringing my husband in, they'd be able to hide all of it. Well, he's a numbers guy and he started to uncover it and get suspicious. So they fired him, right? So through no fault of his own, because he was being honest and uncovering things, he got let go. And we could not understand why that happened because we felt like we were supposed to move. We felt like we were supposed to take this job, and then we weren't being rewarded for it. And so he started applying to other jobs. He wasn't finding anything. And so he started working for himself. And if you've ever started a business, usually the beginning, it can be really slow, especially with pay. So our kids ended up on Medicaid, a place that we never in a million years expected to find ourselves. We were in such a place. Now, if you're a couponer, I applaud you. But I am not a couponer, okay? But things were so bad that I started couponing because we needed the extra buffer in our groceries, in our finances, in all of these different areas. And so it was hard. We ended up in this season where, on top of our kids being on Medicaid, we had $100,000 in student loan debt hanging over our heads. So we completely lost the ability to dream because we were just in the trenches trying to get through day to day. When you were in survival mode, it's hard to think of a bigger, brighter future. Maybe you find yourself in a camp where you used to have these really big dreams. I remember when my husband and I first got married, we had all these dreams that we talked about, and we were like, someday we're going to do this, and someday we're going to do that. And in this season of our life, we felt like that someday was never going to come. Or maybe you find yourself in another camp, like my friend Caitlin, when she got started with this, where I asked her what her big dreams were. And she said she wanted a new computer. Like that was as big as her mind could go was a new laptop. That's what she wanted. Well, lo and behold, thanks to Plexus, not only was she able to earn a free laptop through one of our incentives, she was able to build her dream home. She was able to come home full time from the salon and be a stay at home mom with her kids when she didn't even know that was something she ever wanted. Okay. So, whichever camp you find yourself in, whether you used to have these big dreams, but you feel like they could never happen, and you kind of lost the ability to dream again, or maybe you really struggle to dream big. Whichever camp you find yourself in, tonight is going to inspire you that you can dream bigger and that you can cross off those things that are on your vision board. And if you're like, I don't even have a vision board, that's okay. We can talk about those things too. Because tonight, I really just want to help to open your mind to the possibility of things that can be even bigger. Because what happens so many times is that we start to settle and we just think, this is the cards that I'm dealt. This is the way things are always going to be. Life is hard. Why are bad things always happening to me? And you can't get out of that cycle, right? You just keep, it's like being on a hamster wheel. And that's where we were at. And we had a decision to make. And for an entire year, I watched my friend Alita, who had gone through a really devastating time. She had lost her husband. She had four small kids. They had no life insurance. And I watched her go to the top 1% of the company. I watched her be able to have the time to grieve, to be with her kids, to put them in private school, to afford this life that would have never, ever been possible, but because of Plexus, it was. And here we are struggling, and I'm watching her, and I still didn't say yes for over a year. And so maybe you have people that you're watching and you're thinking, but that could never be me. Well, finally, we decided to say yes. We decided to try these products. And it happened over a Thanksgiving break. We lived in Florida at the time, and my mom came down to visit. Now, a little background on that, my mom made a pact with her friends that she would never, ever do Plexus. That's how against it we all were. And she came down and she was like, oh, guys, look, my shorts are loose. I've been taking Plexus. And it went a little different than that, but it's just, my little recap here for you. And my husband like whipped his head around and he said, hold up. Are you defending Plexus? He's like, I thought we were all not taking that stuff. So she was like, you really should give it a try. So we finally decided to say yes. I gave her our card. We could not afford it. We did it anyway. And she signed us up under the wrong Cheryl Muller. We didn't even know for months. That's how out of it we were. Okay. But I want you to know that me, my mom, and Alita all made it to the top of the company. And we actually did it in the same month, which was super, super fun. So it doesn't matter where you start from, but that's where we started from. And I had a very, very slow start. I shared on Facebook a little bit, but did not get a lot of engagement. And it took me 5 months to find my very first 3 people. Okay. And something shifted in me when I got that first bonus check, and it was $100. Now, if you find 3 people, you can make over $300. Okay. But back in the day, that $100, it made a big difference. And I had started jumping on calls just like this, and I started getting incredibly inspired. I was hearing what they were talking about mindset. I was hearing about them being proactive in their lives and creating the life of their dreams. And I wanted to be a part of that. I heard about the income that they were making. And I thought, maybe, just maybe, this could be the thing that could change everything for our family. And so I made a decision. And I drew my line in the sand and I decided to go all in Plexus. I went out to our company's convention with a nursing baby out in Vegas, which we could not afford to go out there. I shared a room with 3 other women and a nursing baby. It was a 3-hour time change because I was on the East Coast. So I was waking up at 3:45 every morning with this baby. Okay. It was hard, but I will tell you, when you step out of your comfort zone and you start doing scary things, you will be rewarded. And because I decided to go out there, I caught the vision for what this could be for our family. And I decided that I was going to do something to change the trajectory of our lives. And that's exactly what I did. I remember standing in the back bouncing my baby, and I watched all of the top earners on stage, and they were sharing about how, some were introverts, they had less than 200 friends on Facebook when they started. Others, they were homeschooling moms, and they just had every single different story. And I realized that there was nothing different between them and me, that they just decided to do something different. They decided that they were going to be problem solvers, that they decided that they were going to be resilient when hard times came, that they decided that they were not going to give up on themselves and their dreams. And so I hit the ground running. I came home, I was so fired up. I told my husband, I'm going to the top 1% of the company in a year. And he told me after I did it that he did not believe that I was actually going to succeed because I was famous for starting and stopping and starting and stopping. And even one of my best friends said to me, when I accomplished this goal, she said, "Wow, I'm really proud of you for sticking with it." Because she knew that I had a tendency to quit when things got hard. But this was different. And the reason it was different is because I decided it was going to be different. And it really truly starts with a decision, because then your mind starts to change and your mind starts to look for new opportunities that you weren't looking for before. The things that you tell yourself on a daily basis, it matters and it makes a big difference. Are you constantly ridiculing yourself? Are you constantly saying negative self talk? Or are you thinking about positive things? Are you saying to yourself, why do bad things always happen to me? Or are you saying, good things are supposed to happen to me? Because the way that you speak to yourself, it matters. It changes your energy levels, it changes everything. And so, I'm not going to get too nerdy on you, but there is a scientific reason for this. Okay. So, because whatever you're focusing on, that's going to expand. And we have this really cool thing in our brain. It's called the reticular activating center of the brain. We're going to call it RAS for short. And its job is to filter out the pieces of information in your brain that are not important. We would be in like sensory overload if every little bit of information was coming at us at all times. There are certain things that are literally right in front of your face that you are not seeing because your brain has filtered them out because you've said it's not important. And so you might be wondering, well, how does my brain know what's important and what's not? Your brain knows what is important based on what you think about the most. So, are you spending all of your time thinking about the worst case scenario, all of the things that could go wrong? Are you feeding the fear or are you feeding the faith? Right? Which side you're doing? Because both require the same amount of energy and both require that you believe in something that you can't see. So it is up to you to decide what you are going to think on. And so your brain knows what things are important based on what you think about the most. You are telling your brain that this thing is really important to me because I'm thinking about it over and over and over again. What made the biggest difference for me and how we were able to radically change our lives, grow a massive business. You guys, I did not even have work experience when I started this. All of the skills that I have now, I had to learn. I correct myself. I did work as a barista for 6 months in college, if you want to count that as a job. But outside of that, I was never going to work. When my husband and I got married, I told him, honey, I just want you to know I'm not cut out for the workforce. I'm like allergic to a 9 to 5. I want to stay at home and I want to raise babies. And that's exactly what I was doing. But while I was living my dream of being at home with my babies, he was living a nightmare because he was crushed under the weight of providing for our family, right? Remember, we had that $100,000 of student loan debt hanging over our heads. And so, fast forward to where we are now in our lives because of Plexus, we paid off that $100,000 in student loan debt in just 15 months. We were able to move out to Tennessee to be closer to my parents, which is something that I've dreamed about since I was a little girl. I actually always told my mom that I was going to buy the house next door to her. And lo and behold, I actually did that. Our kids can run through the field over to mom and pop-up's house. I always had these visions of a house where people wanted to come and hang out, and a pool and a playground. And so we were able to build all of those things. We were able to cash flow our pool. We were able to cash flow this custom playground. And I share all of those things, you guys, because it's not about the things. I want you to hear me very loud and clear. It is not about the things, right? Money does not buy happiness. But what it does is it provides options for you, and it allows you to live life on your terms. It allows you to make the choices that you want to make for you and your family. It gives you more freedom. When you have money, it takes away the stress that comes when you don't have those finances. When you are struggling financially, you guys, you don't have the options that you want to live life on your terms, right? And there's a lot of things that come in that are natural everyday stressors. You guys, if I needed to go get all of my tires changed today, I could literally go do that and pay cash for it, and it would not be a stressor in my life. But for some of you, if all four of your tires needed to be changed, you'd be wondering, I don't know how I'm going to do this. This is so stressful. Why does this stuff always happen? Well, you guys, first of all, car stuff always happens, right? Like this is part of life. But when you have finances, you have the options to take care of it. That is not a stressor on me anymore. Those things that used to crush us, they don't anymore because we have the finances. And so you could be someone who is an incredibly hard worker, but if you are in a job where your income is capped, or you are in a job where you constantly have to trade time for money, then you're not going to be able to live the life on your terms. Yes, maybe if you can have an uncapped income, right? Maybe you can reach those financial goals that you have, but you're not going to be able to have the time to spend with your family the way that you want to. Or maybe you're in a job and you are working so hard. You're like the hardest worker that's there. I see people who work way harder than me, but because they're not in an opportunity that's going to reward them as generously as this, we have an uncapped income potential. Right? Just to give you like an average as diamonds, you make around $15,000 to $20,000 a month. I know people personally who are making $100,000 a month, right? That's where I'm headed. And so when you have those options and that uncapped income potential, you can take that hard work that you're doing and you can actually be rewarded financially for it. So you might just be in the wrong situation, and this can be the opportunity to bless your family financially in a way that you never even dreamed possible, right? You get to make an impact on hundreds and thousands of people because that is what life is about, right? It's about impacting others and leaving the world a better place than we found it, right? And so this gives you the opportunity to be able to do that. So I want you to know that, like, if you are in the trenches, I want you to hang on because there is a light at the end of the tunnel if you choose to pursue it. Every triumph, victory, huge blessing that we have had in our life has come from some kind of difficulty, right? And so if you find yourself in a spot where you're like, I want more, right? You can be super grateful for where you're at while still wanting more and pursuing the life of your dreams. It doesn't mean that you're ungrateful. It doesn't mean that you're selfish for dreaming big. It means that you have these desires that are in your heart, right? And they're placed there for a reason. I do not believe that any of us are given dreams or visions to just stuff them down and let them die, right? But so many people, they take that potential to their grave. Their family never sees it. Their loved ones never see it. They could have made such a huge impact on the world, but whether they let fear, other people's opinions, whatever playing the victim card, whatever the circumstances is, so many people just let that potential die. And I don't want to see that happen to you because I know somewhere deep inside that you have dreams of a bigger life for your family. And maybe you've just been waiting for the right opportunity to come along. Like I said, I've started and stopped a lot of different things, but this was different. It was different. I decided to be different. I pursued it differently. And I realized that this had to be the thing that was going to change everything for our family. And I'm so, so grateful that I'm now living out the things that were once just a vision on my dream board. Right? Those things that I once thought, wow, that would be amazing to have those things happen. We've crossed those off 3 times over, and we are continuing on to bigger dreams and to bigger things, you guys, stuff that I just never even thought was going to be possible. But it starts with one small decision. It starts with a small decision to say yes to yourself, to bet on yourself that you can actually do this, that you're not going to start and stop, that you're not going to quit, that you, come hell or high water, you are going to make this happen. And you don't have to have all of the things figured out. You don't have to have a plan all lined up perfectly, A, B, C, D. Really, I mean, it's just like goes up and down like this. You just start trying stuff and then you evaluate and you learn and you mess up and you fail forward, and you don't have to have this perfect plan, right? Because if you wait until you're ready, you are never, ever going to start. You just have to start, and you have to do it messy, and you have to try different things, you guys. But it is about the person that you are going to become along the way. That's the most beautiful part of this journey. You guys, having the income is amazing, and it definitely reduces our stress levels. You guys, I haven't done laundry in 7 years. Okay. That is one of the first things that we offloaded when we started doing this business. I mean, maybe here or there when somebody couldn't come, but like I have somebody who comes to my house, they fold and put away all of our laundry. Like, can I get an amen? That was one of the things that I was like, if I could just not do that, my life would be a million times better. Okay. We have someone who comes and helps to clean our house. We have someone that comes and helps with meal prep because my husband and I wanted to have more time with our family. So we were able, because of Plexus, to offload the things that do not bring us joy, that drain our energy, so that we could spend more time with our kids, so that we could spend more time with our family, because that is super important to us. You guys, we've been able to travel like you wouldn't believe because of Plexus. Just this past year alone, we took our kids to Punta Cana. We took them to Hawaii. A few years ago, my husband and I were able to go on an unexpected, unplanned trip not to Hawaii, to Israel that we paid cash for our 10-year anniversary. We did our valve renewals over there. And like we were able to do that on a whim with no planning because of Plexus. For Father's Day, I was able to pay in cash, new to us, a truck for my husband. That literally brought me so much joy because my husband works harder than anybody I know. And to be able to gift him something like that was such a joy that I didn't think I was going to be able to do as a stay-at-home mom, right? I make multi six figures as a stay-at-home mom with zero work experience. In what other world could that be possible except for this one? Network marketing as an industry produces more six-figure earners than any other industry because the playing field is even. If you want to grow as a person, if you are willing to learn the skills and lead other people, then you can do this. Every single thing that you need to know, you can learn along the way. And the best way to learn is by just doing it before you are ready. And so I'm going to walk you guys through this vision casting exercise tonight. And I want you guys to go ahead and close your eyes. And as you are doing this, I want you to just open up your mind, and I want you to allow yourself to start to dream. Like if you could, just for 1 second, I want you to just step back, step outside of your current situation and your day to day. And I want you to just get a bigger picture for your life than what you have right in front of you. Because it is so easy to just go into survival mode, to settle for where we're at because it's comfortable, even though it's not easier to stay in the same place. It's what you've always known. But today is the day that things start to change for you, that you choose the discomfort of the unknown and the unfamiliar. Life is short. And I don't want you to wake up in 10 years and say, I wish I would have been able to take my family on vacations. I wish I would have been able to spend more time with my kids. I wish I would have been able to go on more dates with my spouse. I wish I would have been able to pay off all this debt by now. I wish I would have been able to give more in need. I wish I would have been able to have a greater impact. I want you to walk away tonight knowing that you were made for more. We were not designed to clock in, clock out, retire at 60, and then start living our lives. And I want you to take a deep breath and I want you to keep your eyes closed. I want you to forget about reality for a minute. And I want you to forget what you think is possible or not possible. I want you to allow yourself to start to dream. I want you to allow yourself to go to a place that maybe you have never been to before. I want you to think about what would you go after if you knew that anything was possible. I want you to think about what goals and what dreams would you run after if you knew that you could do anything. And I want you to know, I want you to think about what kind of person do you aspire to be? What qualities do you want to possess that you don't right now? If time and money weren't a factor, what kind of life would you live and how would you spend your days? I want you to know that your past does not define you. And what other people have said about you does not define you. And your fears do not define you. And your doubts do not define you. You were made for a purpose and you were made for so much more. I want you to think about those goals and those dreams, and I want you to attach emotion to it. I want you to let yourself actually go there. I want you to think about the ripple effect when you run after your dreams. What are those things going to look like? How are your kids' lives going to be different? How is your family's life going to be different? Because you decided to do something different. You decided to change things. I want you to think about what's that going to feel like when you have the funds in your account and you can give like never before or take a spontaneous trip. I want you to think about what is it going to feel like when you can cross those items one by one off of your dream board. I want you to let yourself get to the space that you have never allowed yourself to get to before. I want you to dream bigger than you have ever dreamed possible. And if you feel like it's being blocked and you can't dream any bigger, I promise you can. I want you to remove all of the limitations that you've placed on yourself and know that it's possible. You were made for a purpose and you were made for so much more. You are an overcomer. Chains will be broken because of you. You have an opportunity to leave a legacy and an inheritance for your children and their children. You are loved. You are brave. You are courageous. You are made new. You are set free. And you can do anything that you put your mind to because your dreams are possible. I want you to just keep your eyes closed for a few minutes and let those dreams flood into your heart. Okay, you guys can open your eyes now. And that exercise, maybe you've done it before with me. Maybe it's something brand new for you. Every single time I do it, I have new dreams that come up. I feel new emotions. And I want you to take those things that were ignited in you tonight, and I want you to write them down. I want you to either write them on a paper or put them in the notes section of your phone. I don't want you to walk away tonight and just let those dreams fade, right? I don't want those to be the thing that you say, well, someday, right? Like I said, we all have dreams and a purpose for those dreams that have been placed into your heart. And so the road to accomplish those is not easy, but it is worth it. It's going to take sacrifice. It's going to take you being uncomfortable and stepping way outside of your comfort zone, but you will become a better, stronger person because of it. And so I want you to just kind of sit in those things that you thought about tonight. And I want you to read over those. day after day after day. I want you to bring those to the forefront of your mind, because what's going to happen is, like we talked about before with your brain, the more you think about those dreams, the more you are telling your brain that these things are important. And then your mind is going to start spotting opportunities that you never even knew were there before, because your brain is looking for it. It's like when you get the new car and then all of a sudden you see it everywhere, right? They were always there, you just didn't see them. Well, these other opportunities for growth and abundance have always been there, but you just haven't seen them, right? And so I want you to focus on those things. I want you to bring those to the forefront of your mind daily, even if it's just for a few minutes, because I want you to remind your brain that this is what's important. This is what we're going to think about. I want you to start speaking positively over yourself, right? All of those things about how you are loved and you are so cared for, right? And that your dreams are possible. And so that's what I want you guys to leave with tonight. I want you to leave. Those dreams are not going to happen overnight. Some of those dreams took us almost 8 years to accomplish. Okay. But we're here and we're living in them now. And this is just the beginning. And so I'm excited for you guys, for where your future leads, for where 2025 is going to bring you, because I truly believe that the best is yet to come. And so just remember that your dreams are possible. And so thank you so much for being on tonight, and we'll see you guys next week.